Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all keeping well. As always, thank you so much for joining me for another reading. So today's reading, guys, highly requested. You guys have asked me, Edie, please could you have a look? How does Jungkook feel about Rosé or Rose? I don't know what's the correct pronunciation here. I'm going to call her Rose from Blackpink. What does he think of her? Have they had any romance going on? And what does she think of him as well? Like, what's the interaction like with them at this time or overall? And yeah, today we are going to have a look then, how do they feel about each other and whether or not they've had any, romantic history with each other as well. Okay, but before I start, guys, please bear in mind that this is a tarot reading and this is meant for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so noticed in some of the JUNGKOOK readings specifically, I don't get that so much in other members' readings, but some people just tend to cross the line a little bit in the comment section. Okay, please bear in mind, as I said, this is a tarot reading. This is meant for people who either read tarot themselves or are interested in tarot or just are enjoying tarot overall. People who have like a spiritual understanding of tarot and everything. If you don't agree with that, please go switch off, go watch something else and go do something else that's more purposeful to you. But without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's reading and let's have a look what are the cards here now for Jungkook and Rose. So let's start with Jungkook's side and this is going to be Rose's side. Okay, but before I start again, let's have a look first whether or not they've ever dated, if they've had any romantic feelings towards each other at all, or if they have like a romantic history with each other. Okay, so let's have a look. Let me just give a few quick shuffles. Okay, so let's see. So we've got 8 wands in the reverse. I feel like there's maybe been intentions going in that direction. I think there's been a possibility or an opportunity to take this connection, this friendship, this interaction that they've had with each other a bit further, but 8 of Wands is in the reverse, which indicates that there's frustration due to delays. Okay, so whatever it has been that's delayed it could certainly be traveling back and forth. Okay, it could be overall busy schedules as well and lack of communication perhaps, or delayed communication that has caused frustration. Okay, let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, see, 5 of Cups is all about sadness, failure, and feeling disappointed and pessimistic as well. Okay, 5 of Cups is the type of energy that indicates the past as well. So something has happened in the past that it has now caused a lot of disappointments when it comes to the romance sector especially. Okay, and this is most certainly an energy of loss that's again bringing on the sadness and discontentment. I would like to very quickly clarify this 8 of Wands reversed, please. I feel like there's been a lot of obstacles to establish anything of romantic nature. Let's see. See the moon. Okay, the moon is uncertainty, anxiety. I don't know what's behind the veil there. I can't see everything clearly. This is fears and worries as well, and feeling slightly confused, right? So I mean, the confusion certainly could be due to difficulties in communication, okay, or lack of communication. see Knight of Pentacles, that evidently all this confusion and with the moon certainly could also indicate that we haven't been able to see each other so much. We've not seen each other, so we could be with the 8 of Wands. Certainly the communication has been more like online. We're just talking on Kakao Talk or DMing and stuff, but we're not actually seeing each other. Okay, we're kind of hidden from each other. The moon being Pisces energy as well is going to add that extra layer of illusion here as well. Or as I said, again, something does not feel or seem as it really is, okay, because there's a lack of clarity here that's causing or adding that confusion into the mix that essentially is going to halt the work and the progress that this connection would need for it to actually be successful, I'm getting, right? And you see, I feel like there's somebody who's been quite discontent about taking someone's cup, okay? Answering their phone, for example, or responding their messages or whatever. And someone certainly has been discontent in this connection on a romantic level. Let's take one more for the 8 of Wands. Yeah, Emperor in the reverse as well. So this is inflexible. So it could be, as I said, schedule's inflexible. Maybe lifestyle is very inflexible. I haven't got the time, and I can't build that structure. Emperor, usually upright, specifically, is all about building that solid structure where we can kind of start working on this connection, right? But it's in the reverse. There's no structure, and somebody also is maybe immature or has a very big ego or is defensive, for example, has like temper tantrums and so forth. Now it could be both, right? Because we're looking at the communication is a hit and miss here, so therefore we're frustrated, confused slightly, and a bit irritable as well. That's what I'm essentially getting, right? And the Hermit is here as well, right? So this is all about a lone type of energy. All this has contributed towards them most likely wanting to stay single or remain, not in a connection with each other, not wanting to be part of it. So I'm not getting that there's been a relationship behind the scenes. I feel like there's maybe been interest. Perhaps this can develop into something. I'm definitely certain that there's been connection, talks, conversations. Okay, I'm not really seeing a lot of like meeting up type of energy. Not like when it comes to romance and everything. I feel like flirting even has been quite like, minimal. I'd say it's been more like just talking to each other, but it's just not getting anywhere, and it's difficult to even hold a conversation, for example, because I'm constantly busy, she's constantly busy, she's traveling, I'm traveling, and we just never see each other, and even the communication is slightly confusing. However, I feel that the interest has been there though, but the Hermit and the Emperor in the reverse also indicates that maybe when that happened, both were in a stage in their lives where they were growing and building that structure that just wasn't there for success, specifically because Emperor again is a businessman, isn't it? So and we can see the Knight of Pentacles here as well, which is dedication and loyalty and working really hard on something. But I feel like the hard work has been put into in their individual lives and career success and so forth. So therefore, their love lives most likely have stayed in the background. Like, not a lot has happened here. The Hermit is such a passive energy, and then we've got the Knight of Pentacles as well, which is really slow and steady, right? But in a challenged position, even the slow progress has been or was challenging. Okay, so therefore it just led to nothing, because we're looking at this 5 of Cups here, which is failure, disappointment, perhaps even regret that we even started something like that, because I feel like they're just incompatible. Looking at these cards, I don't think that they're very alike in any way. But yeah, I'm not really getting a connection here of any type, right? Just maybe friendship so far. But yeah, let's dive into the other cards now, guys. and let's see how do they feel about each other. So let me give it a good shuffle, and we'll start with Jungkook. Okay, so let's have a look at those cards first that have come through for him already. So we are looking at Aquarius energy here, and we've got the Seven of Pentacles, which is then Saturn in Taurus energy. Okay, so guys, if you get confused, I mix tarot and astrology for that extra layer of detail. Okay, so with the Aquarius energy, right off the bat, okay, I'm not sure if she has Aquarius, but I'm getting that she could have some Aquarius in her chart, but please feel free to clarify that if that's the case here. But in Jungkook's perspective, he might be thinking that she is quite, not so much like quirky, but Aquarius is the type of energy that thinks outside of the box, does things their own way, and is quite like a futuristic type of energy, okay? Aquarius is going to behave in a way that is sociable. I think she's a very social person, most likely. And again, with the Aquarius, it signifies that she, most likely in his perspective, is very much focused on the groups. Like, she likes to be mingling, and she most likely cares about the people around her a lot, like her fans, most likely her bandmates, and people she has to work with, and most likely also when it comes to BTS as well. Okay, because again, Aquarius energy is humanitarian, it's altruistic, it's kind and gentle, and it has group mentality, right? Aquarius, as much as it is also like the type of energy that is very original, okay, so most likely in his perspective, he thinks that she is a very independent thinker, right? She does things her own way, and her mindset is also sort of different from others, which is interesting. Now, Aquarius energy definitely is interesting, and she most likely has a lot of friends as well. As I said, very sociable type of energy, charitable as well, okay, and always has some interesting solutions to problems, for example, that nobody else has thought of. I feel like maybe Rose has that personality that is very dedicated to her craft, to her art, to her work, and the people her work affects as well, okay, and also the people her work and career brings into her life. So it could be other artists, other creatives, and so forth as well, okay. So again, as much as Aquarius is a fixed energy, it is still fairly difficult to pin someone down who has very strong Aquarius. He might be thinking that she's perhaps looking also for somebody who is who's very original, for example, or has like that different way of living, or a lifestyle somehow is slightly different, or isn't almost like something predictable, I guess. So something about her also could come across slightly unpredictable. The way she behaves, the way she maybe expresses herself, or something like that, okay. And then we have the Saturn in Taurus here as well, which again, Saturn is so disciplined, isn't it? And it's slow energy also, and Taurus, again, super slow energy, but also very dedicated to its work, its cause, its foundation and stability, okay. So do think that in his perspective, she's a very sociable person, she's got lots of friends, she's super dedicated to her work, her career, the people around her, the people she affects with her work, and so forth. She's probably a very dedicated, loyal person, but the Aquarius energies, but she's loyal to many people almost as well. Like, there's no exclusivity with her. However, with Taurus coming through here, and Capricorn with the Saturn energy, I feel like I'm not really getting so far. I'm not getting that sexual attraction here so much. I mean, Taurus hints a little bit of sensuality here, but then again, Aquarius is not sensual at all. Aquarius is quite cold, actually, is not very emotional at all, is more like logical and practical, but not emotional, is quite quite like detached type of energy on that front, and so is Capricorn and Saturn energy as well, okay, which is indicating I'm focused on my work and what is important to me, and very, you know, hardworking and everything. But when it comes to maybe more intimate relationships, or talking about like really deep topics and stuff, she's maybe not that type of person who would get deep with you and discuss with you like very personal topics or issues or experiences. And she's more like, you know, in his perspective, you know, life of the party sometimes perhaps, but she's interested in talking to with many people a little bit, you know. It's having her eggs in many baskets, basically, this type of personality, right? Caring and loving person, of course, but as far as romance and all of that goes, I feel like she leaves him cold a little bit, right? Maybe she has not expressed herself so openly towards him when it comes to intimacy and so forth. So that's what I mean with the 8 of Wands coming through before. Conversations have been there, but there's been disappointment in that regard, that perhaps the conversations have been quite practical. You know, with the Hermit coming through here with the Virgo, it's more like focused on work, the 6th house things, you know, your work, your lifestyle, your service to others, and then your career and everything, health most likely as well. It's like things of that nature. So the topic for the conversations most likely was more, or even is to this day, about all of those types of things rather than love and romance. However, I do think that the interest has been there, but it's kind of like gone pretty quickly because the conversation never developed into anything. And also, it's possible that if he still has, you know, contact with her to this day, which I think he does because Aquarius is here, we're still in contact. It could be more like a group message, let's say, rather than like a personal message. Or if that is here, then it's very rare when they personally message each other like one-to-one. It's mostly maybe a group message. But let's clarify this Aquarius and the 7 of Pentacles, and how does JUNGKOOK feel about her? Yeah, I feel like they're just really good friends, to be honest, with the 6 of Pentacles coming out, which is all about giving and receiving. We're supporting each other. We're always there for each other as well. And we're part of the same community as well. So, of course, why wouldn't we support each other, right? So that's a very charitable, again with the Aquarius as well. I mean, he most likely perceives her as somebody who's, you know, probably fairly easy to have a conversation with, but the topic of conversation isn't very like deep. It's more about work and, you know, where you've been, what you've been up to, and what's exciting, what's new in your life type of thing, right? Rather than personal issues and personal, you know, it's not like he's been able to reflect on his personal thoughts and experiences with her. I don't think so. So let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, see 3 of Cups in the reverse as well. I think he thinks she's like very independent person. Her independence is super important, and I mean, she could be a party person or somebody who comes across. Now, again, she doesn't have to be a party person at all. But in his perspective, she might be coming across like somebody who loves a good party, for example, or loves to go and socialize a lot with other people and, you know, mingle. As I said, you know, she has many friends in different areas of life or something like that. Okay, and also 3 of Cups in the reverse indicates that I don't have time to socialize sometimes as well. So I feel like when it comes to JUNGKOOK, they just literally don't have time to come together and meet with each other because they're most likely busy with their own lives, their own friends and careers and everything as well. So yeah, it's like we probably support each other and we are supportive of each other in many ways, but it's more like, again, because we're looking at the Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles as well, it's mostly about stability, work, and things of that nature, the industry, so to speak. See, we've got Five of Pentacles coming through now as well. Even to this day, perhaps when you take into consideration, the growth in their careers, he might be perceiving that, when we met, you were just only starting out, and now you have so much work going on. You don't have time to meet up, and even if it's the same event that they're on, it's almost like we haven't got time to even stay for a drink afterwards. We have to kind of fly off straight away somewhere else, or one of us has to, right? But with the Five of Pentacles coming out in the reverse here, and we did see that Five of Cups before, which is all about loss. Now Five of Pentacles is all about recovering from that loss. So I feel like perhaps, it was Jungkook who felt kind of like disappointed that perhaps she just didn't really want to speak to him so much, or wasn't interested in him so much, right? And therefore the conversation wasn't so smooth, I guess. But now in this day and age and nowadays, he has recovered from that, right? Or he's just seeing things from a completely different point of view now. It's almost like we're both creatives, probably both in the same industry as well, with this Aquarius coming through. And we are very generous with each other in terms of, like, if there's anything she should ever need, of course she's a friend. Like, Six of Pentacles is such a friendly energy, and Aquarius also is friendly energy, okay? So it's like, of course I would be there for her if something was wrong, and if that was me, I know she would be there for me as well, because again, with the Aquarius coming through here, she would see through the BS. Let's say if there's a scandal or something like that, she would understand immediately, or she could see through the scandal and the smoke screen what is actually the cause of that. So I can rely on her help and support in any way, okay? And that is good enough for me. Even if we don't see each other very often, it's just nice to have people around me who care about me and who care about my success, or who are thoughtful of me, right? Again, this moon coming through here now, it's in a challenged position though, so I feel like it's challenging to see her, and or just to get together, okay, and be in the same kind of room even with each other is really challenging. So most of the time I do think that they're just not seeing each other at all. I mean, the moon being quite a secret type of energy as well could indicate that perhaps she doesn't always share everything with him, and he doesn't share everything about his life to her as well. Again, with the moon being very emotional energy, I feel like, as I said before, that sharing anything of that emotional nature is challenging with her. It's like she's not that type of person. Like, you would not go and tell her about your problems, for example, because she would most likely, yeah, she would probably give you very good advice, but she would not be emotionally so supportive, I guess. You would go to someone else for that, somebody who's more empathic, I suppose, which, I don't really see that so much here. I mean, with the Six of Pentacles, perhaps, yes. But again, it's the pentacle energy, which is all about I'm grounded, I am very practical in my way of thinking. And again, with the Aquarius coming through here, okay, it's a sword energy, which is all about intellect. She could be approaching those types of situations of emotional nature, I mean, or something that is more personal to you from a more practical and intellectual perspective, that isn't gonna really help me on an emotional level. It's like, I know the answer, but sometimes I just need someone to be there for me and hear me out, and be warm towards me. But I'm not really seeing a lot of warmth here at all. Like, he does not perceive her as being somebody who is warm person. Let's see, anything else? See, we've got Nine of Cups in the reverse as well. See, yeah, like when it comes to, for example, romance or something more than that, okay, he it's not good enough for him. Not like in a big-headed and shallow way. It's just that I feel with Jungkook, he needs that emotional connection first and foremost, and then the rest will follow. Where he's not feeling that with her here. I mean, Nine of Cups in the reverse sometimes can also hint to an arrogance and ungrateful type of energy. So certainly maybe he can perceive her like that sometimes, that maybe he's been very supportive of her in her time of need, okay, and she has appeared like she wasn't very grateful for him to show his support towards her or be supportive or something like that. But it doesn't have to be. This is just overall like disappointing type of energy when it comes to especially the cup energy being Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio here, which is all about the depth of your feelings and emotions and the connection between the two people. It's just disappointing. It's quite straightforward, isn't it? So Seven of Swords now has come out in the reverse. So I don't know if she's maybe seeing somebody. Maybe something's come out in the news, for example, that she's actually with someone. That certainly could be. And I feel like just knowing that has helped him to kind of like put that thought to rest, like that's never gonna happen. Me and her are never gonna be anything basically. And Ace of Pentacles is here. I feel like their connection overall is very stable in terms of friendship, and as being part of the same industry and everything. It's like whenever they see each other, I feel like they're very friendly with each other. It's like two mates getting together for a bit of chat, and that's about it. But it's still the work is the main priority and the focus here. So it is, in her perspective, no matter what happened in the past, in this day and age, nowadays, this relationship is slowly work related. We're more like, not so much like the best of friends. I'm not getting that at all, to be honest. It's like we're acquaintances, we support each other, we care about each other as two artists being there for each other, right? There's no bad blood here, I'm not getting, okay, but emotionally, in his perspective, like he is not feeling the connection here at all. Even if, let's say, in the past there was a little bit of interest there, but now there is no interest, basically. I'm not getting that, okay. I don't know if now recently they've met or something as well, I'm getting. So it's possible that recently this friendship perhaps was renewed, so to speak, or it's just gotten a new opportunity to build something. But it's more like, again, a more solid working relationship perhaps could be, with the Pentacles coming out. So I don't know if they're thinking to work with each other, but doesn't have to be. This could also just be like we've met, so after a long time of not seeing each other because of him most likely being in the military and everything, our connection has been solidified even further, that we're like really good friends and so forth. And this connection is just renewed almost as well, like in a friendly way, I'm getting. But more than anything so far, I'm getting that this is more like we're industry friends, and that's why we get along with each other, because we do the same things. We obviously have things in common on that front. We're both creatives and artists and all that, so we have a lot to discuss with each other. But again, I'm not seeing no ones here, for example, no passion whatsoever, no sexual passion. As I said, like with the Taurus, probably there could be a bit of sensuality, but I'm not really seeing a lot of that here. Like no ones at all. As I said, with the Aquarius, it's more like that calculating type of practical, logical, intellectual connection rather than passionate and emotional, okay, from his perspective anyway, okay. So let's have a look at now her side. We have full moon here, and so this is going to be Cancer energy, and then we have Eight of Cups here, which is Saturn in Pisces, so we've got a lot of water energy. Now, from her perspective, she most likely thinks that JUNGKOOK is a very, very emotional, intense type of person who can get maybe offended easily, for example, or becomes emotional fairly quickly. Like he thinks emotionally rather than rationally and practically. Okay, so full moon, of course, is illumination. Of course, it could indicate that she sees him as somebody who's a big star. You know, all eyes are on him. He is shining brightly. Everybody knows who JUNGKOOK is. Overall, I do think that she is quite like happy for him, obviously, with the full moon as well. It's everything's exposed. So if there was ever anything, even if they were just friends, I think the friendship would also be exposed or blown up in the media, for example, right? So you know, with the full moon, especially, as I said, she might think of him that his fame also can maybe cause her some emotional, I wouldn't say like discomfort or something, or it can affect her emotionally, let's say. Also, what I'm getting here is that perhaps his exposure to the world and how popular he is could also affect her popularity as well. Okay, so she also obviously is in the public eye. She's a public figure, a celebrity, obviously. So I feel like in her perspective, his friendship and of overall their friendship with each other benefits her public image as well in a positive way. Okay, but with the Saturn in Pisces now, Pisces being extremely sensitive energy, and Saturn is being very dedicated and a disciplined type of energy as well. Full moon, Cancer energy as well is something that indicates home or home related type of energies. Okay, home in terms of like my mom and dad, my siblings. So it could be that she might be perceiving him as somebody who's like a brother to her, or like that sibling vibes, right? Again, I'm not getting a lot of like romantic energy on her side as well. In fact, you know, when you're thinking about Eight of Cups in tarot, is all about I'm walking away from something that was disappointing or unfulfilling towards something much better, or something that feels and aligns with me much more. I'm still in search of something better as well. Okay, so I feel like, you know, when it comes to JUNGKOOK, she might be thinking that he is also in search of, like, he's just maybe disappointed in her because emotionally there has not been a lot of connection, or she's just not a very emotional person again, right? As we are looking at Saturn and Pisces here, couldn't be any more different on an emotional level. That Saturn being very disciplined, very orderly, very you know, dedicated to work and rules and authority and so forth, whereas Pisces is extremely obviously very creative energy, but Pisces is just going to swim wherever it wants to go, isn't it? So there's that I mean, it's either her who wants that freedom, Pisces again being very sociable sign as well, and Saturn is being like structured, very structured, right, and fixed as well. Okay, so it could be again two very, very different personalities that I'm picking up here. But yeah, let's have a look at her side now as well. Please tell me about how does Rose feel about JUNGKOOK. What does she think of JUNGKOOK? Ten of Cups. Well, that's really nice. But again, I'm not getting like this is in a romantic sense. I'm thinking that Ten of Cups here is more like we're from the same family. As I said, with the Cancerian energy coming through, there's some sort of like familiar type of energy, right? But it's more like a sibling type of vibe that I'm getting. Okay, and also I do think that she is quite happy to see him whenever she gets to see him, and it's almost like I'm getting that little brother type of energy, if I'm honest. So I don't know what their age difference is like, but this is what I'm getting, that in her perspective, he's maybe a bit too young for him. if you'd consider romance and stuff. But aside from that, he is part of that one big happy family, which is the entertainment industry, K-pop, and all of that. Okay. Now, Ten of Cups can also indicate that perhaps there's fandom here as well that could be something that's maybe putting her off a little bit. Because again, we're looking at this Eight of Cups. I'm walking away from something that's maybe holding me back, or that's maybe causing me emotional turmoil a little bit. So maybe some of the fans can be a bit, harassing her because of her connection to Jungkook. That's a high possibility here. And now we've got that Eight of Wands here again, but it's challenged. So communication with Jungkook in her perspective is really challenging because he is so famous. He's got lots going on again, and so does she, of course. So communication, coming together, seeing each other, okay, is fairly challenging. But I don't think that she holds on to the disappointment, if there even is any disappointment. She's the type of person who probably, again, just moves on very quickly. And she's like, okay, you can't speak to me now. We'll speak whenever we have time. No hard feelings. You go and do your thing and be happy, right? I feel like she's the type of person, right? Now, Temperance is in the reverse here. I'm getting that in her perspective, again, because we're looking at the Two of Cups that the angel is holding here, which is all about emotional sensitivity. Two of Cups, essentially, right? Coming together with someone in love and romance and partnerships and so forth. In the reverse, we're not coming together. Like, we're incompatible. Like, also in her perspective, he might be somewhat maybe extreme in some ways as well, right? Something in her personality to her seems quite extreme. And because we are looking at all these cups here, and the full moon and the Pisces coming through here and everything, it could be that she perceives him quite as someone who's very intense when it comes to like emotions and all of that. Like, you don't want to tell him anything wrong. He might take certain things too personally, for example, or it just takes him time to move on from unfulfilling, disappointing feelings, which we can see here with this Age of Cups coming through as well. Okay, so I feel like in her perspective, Jungkook has a lot of maybe maturing to do on an emotional level specifically. But he's, see, 2 10s here. So if they ever had any interest, and I feel like the interest could have been on both sides, but only just teeny tiny bit. And I feel like the interest went pretty quickly when they started talking to each other. It's like we just couldn't get along. We weren't on the same wavelength. I'm like this, but he is very strict, okay, or intense somehow, or very disciplined, certainly could be as well, with the Saturn being present here. Very dedicated to his work, his legacy, and long-term success, and making money specifically as well. Okay, so again, she might be thinking that he maybe is also fairly strict, or somehow his lifestyle is restrictive. Both of their lifestyles most likely are quite restrictive in terms of like, we can't just fly in and out and back and forth and speak to whoever we want freely and so forth. And I feel like in her perspective, our connection is very, very restricted because we've got lots going on. Obviously, both of us are busy with our communities, our fans, and our work and our teams and everything, okay? And again, because we're looking at this Ten of Pentacles, it could be also with just like industry friends. We're maybe connected somehow by the same companies, agencies, or whatever, or we just know each other through work more than anything. Both of us are trying to grow our legacy, our money, our finances, and so forth, okay? And as I said, overall, whenever she does see him, though, I do think that the interactions are very kind of like, oh my God, not seen you in ages. How have you been? I'm so happy to see you. And it's genuine because Cancer and Pisces both are very genuine when it comes to all of that again. But as a, as I said before, she is probably not a very emotional person, so she might not understand so well why Jungkook, for example, has that emotional intensity. I would say him with his 8 house stellium, definitely he would do, and she's picking up on that, and she most likely thinks, well, I'm nothing like that, so of course, our chemistry is not going to be like off the charts, like especially when you're thinking romance and stuff. But as mates, as friends, yeah, we just wish each other the best, obviously. But just coming together and kind of seeing outside of like industry events, for example, is extremely challenged, right? It can cause a disruption of some sort or chaos and stuff if we've ever been spotted together, even if we're just talking about work and stuff and there's nothing going on, right? As I said, with the full moon, everything about him is exposed, and she's very aware of that. And she might be thinking as well, I'm kind of having to almost like, when we see each other on events or whatever, we'll, exchange a few words, but then I have to get going because I don't maybe want to be seen publicly with him because of the fandom can be a little bit scary and intense, right? And it can cause disruption and chaos in my own career and reputation and my own legacy. Let's see. Is there anything else for full moon? And Cups. Yeah, see, Knight of Cups is here in the reverse, and Ace of Swords is here as well. So I think that she knows that Jungkook is the type of person who maybe has had some feelings towards her. But because the Knight of Cups here again is in the reverse, I feel like she has maybe not taken up on his offer, or she's not been forthcoming in that regard. And I think it's mostly because of her work and her career and so forth. And I don't know if there's been ever like some invitations to work each other as well. So if that is the case, it's possible that she won't be able to, isn't available for that, or she's turned that offer down as well. But there's been clarity for that. It's like I've just been honest and open, and I've given the clarity that he needs, because he can be quite a moody person, I think. Knight of Cups in the reverse is quite like a moody, or can be quite jealous type of energy, or vain even as well, and slightly superficial. However, Knight of Cups, very, very talented and creative energy as well, but romantic also. So do you think that she recognizes that Jungkook most likely is a romantic at heart, so to speak, but for her, probably that's just a no-no because we are in the same industry, and perhaps even communication isn't the best as well, right? We just don't see eye to eye always, or we just, our communication style is very different, right? As I said, with the Saturn coming through, she might be thinking that perhaps he is quite rigid as well. Now, I don't know if this has anything to do with him being Korean, and I believe she's like grown up in Australia or somewhere, I'm not too sure, okay, but she has that foreign background as well, okay, and I feel like to her he is not maybe open-minded enough, or he's not similar to her, so therefore it's very difficult to find that attraction, I suppose. But as a friend, perfect. We're getting along so well. Even if we don't see each other, we're still in touch with each other sometimes, okay? Let's say if there's an event, prior to this event, most likely there's some messages going back and forth. Will you be there? Will I be seeing you there? Or something like that. What time you're arriving? And so forth. Again, it's more like about work rather than personal things and so forth, okay? As I said, Knight of Cups here is in the reverse, which is no to the romance, basically. But yeah, we can speak about what will bring success, what, little details and so forth. Ace of Swords is direct communication as well, so it could be that sometimes maybe they have direct contact with each other. But again, I feel like it's almost like we kind of have to work out how do we not be seen in the public together, otherwise people will think that we're together, and it causes a lot of chaos and whatever. Okay. And also with the Knight of Cups in the reverse, it's possible that she is just emotionally unavailable, at least at the moment. When it comes to him, she is not like interested in him emotionally, or like when it comes to a personal intimate relationship. Okay. And see, Three of Wands is in the reverse as well. There's some setbacks here that's taken part in this connection between them two, and maybe some obstacles as well. But overall, I feel like it's more about the distance also. And obviously the distance could be literally the fact that we are hardly ever in the same place together. And obviously it could be emotional distance as well. Now she might be also thinking that perhaps like intellectually we're not in the same place. I'm not just trying to say that, oh, she's super smart and he's really stupid or something. No, nothing like that. It's just we just are incompatible. Like outside of the music industry and everything, perhaps we haven't got a lot in common. She might be more interested in everything that kind of invigorates the mind, and he might be more interested in activities and whatever that is more like fueled, like emotionally fueled, that will give him emotional satisfaction rather than intellectual, right? It's almost like she maybe has more interests than he does, especially when we're looking at Cancerian energy. Cancer energy, is clinging on to someone. Okay, it's like because emotionally I'm getting what I need from this person, this connection, so I cling on to that person. Okay, because they're kind of like safe to me, like they're my safe zone, isn't it? And she might be perceiving that he might be that type of person. If she were to express herself, like her interest towards him, her intuition is saying that he'll just going to become too clingy, and that will restrict my lifestyle and how I am and so forth. But I do think that she is like a more like a social butterfly, to be honest. I mean, of course I could be wrong. As I said, it is a tarot reading, so treat it as such, but please feel free to correct that. I mean, but looking at the cards, I think that she's much more social, she's more open in getting to know lots of different people and from different backgrounds and stuff. And Jungkook is more like interested in like a close-knit circle of friends and family, so or something like that. So he's not so open in just talking to anyone. He's much more reserved with this heavy Saturn coming through here. But yeah, so far I'm not getting any romantic feelings. In fact, I do think that they are friends, but not like best of friends, right? Industry friends, as I said, they support each other. They are in contact with each other, but most of the time I'm getting it's mostly like group messages, and so forth. Okay. And yeah, maybe sometimes they see each other on like some events, I would say, with the Ten of Pentacles. Could be like, I don't know, the Grammys and the VMAs and things of that nature, fashion, maybe events as well. Or sometimes maybe she might go and see him perform, he might go and see her perform, but it's more like, again, in a group setting. Like she's not going to go alone, she's probably going to go with the rest of the Blackpink members, and he might go again with his friends, and they're never kind of like alone with each other. That's what I'm getting. Okay, so if there was ever any interest in each other in the past, like quite far in the past, I would say, it's just no longer here at all. I'm not getting. Okay, but guys, please tell me what you think. What is your perception of it all and their connection with each other? And if you would like to clarify any of the messages, please feel free to do that down in the comment section. But this is all I've got for you for today. It's slightly longer reading, but I hope it was interesting. So as I said, please feel free to let me know down in the comments if you found it interesting. But yeah, I'll leave it here, guys. Thank you ever so much for joining me for this one, and for all of you who requested this reading as well. I'm truly grateful. I hope you guys have a lovely week. Enjoy the beautiful autumn weather, and yeah, take care, guys. I'm sending you all my love, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now. Bye.